And this is exactly what the Chamber of Commerce wants. They want infinite illegal immigrants, and they don't want them to vote because that's what Democrats want. They just want them to be a permanent slave labor class. And here's the problem is Americans just want a rule of law again. They just want fairness. They want the system and rules to work. And what he seems to be advocating for is basically this blurry system where we have laws that we don't enforce.
Let's take a pivot, Mark, and let's talk about, you mentioned some of these companies and some of these corruptions. You've got some polling out about companies that hire illegal aliens. 2 weeks ago, I was on Alex Jones's show, and I broke a story that I've been working on. One of the largest unions in the Northeast, the North Atlantic Carpenters Union, which go up and down the northern eastern seaboard, have laid off, which we're seeing across the union workers who are American, and have chose to keep on their illegal aliens. Now, this was brought to my attention by someone who reached out to me inside the union with evidence that they were laid off. Their boss is an illegal from not Mexico, not Honduras, not El Salvador, not Venezuela, Canada, an illegal from Canada. So we have them from the north too. And it's been all along the board, Mark, and they're evading. This is a union who does work in government buildings, to which they don't send these illegals. They hide them. They don't let them go do these jobs. They protect them. And then when it comes time for union meetings, these unions overwhelmingly tell these people that they must vote Democrat. And it makes me wonder, because these people are so damn stupid inside of these unions that they listen to them, and they're literally giving away their own jobs. They're voting to give their own jobs away, these idiots, by listening to these unions to vote for Democrats who want illegals in here for cheap labor to keep their damn jobs.
Yeah, I mean, this is the country we live in. It goes back to George Carlin. It's a big club, and you're not in it. And I've been anti-union my entire life. My parents were educators. I know how these things have been politically corrupted, but that's just one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is that Republicans are completely lock, stock, and barrel owned by corporate special interests. And the way that Democrats, control their unions in order to keep wages down is just completely corrupt their leadership. The way Republicans do it is just to offshore the out of every single industry or, abuse H-1Bs. But we have some pretty stunning polling that I think tells us exactly what's happening with this promise to deport all illegal immigrants. And there's been a lot of people who say, well, because of the ICE protests, because of these people that died tragically, that somehow we need to pivot. And one of those people is Donald John Trump, who's been talking about getting rid of illegals for 10 years now, and who was still talking about mass deportations. Definitely it was part of the campaign promise, and who is just very recently pivoted to saying they're going to focus on just the ones who have committed violent crimes and stuff. That, in my opinion, is a George H.W. like Bush, read my lips, no new taxes.
By the way, I heard Stephen Miller's abhorrent and pissed mad about that.
Yeah. Well, this is the problem. This is why I got to the White House to tell people they are frustrated with the people that he is talking to. He is not, the team is not running a strategy. He's literally just talking to people and making decisions and doing whatever the hell he wants. And he's counter signaling his base, and it's a real problem. But after all of this stuff with ICE, you could say, well, has America changed their minds? And the answer is 100% no. Would you support or oppose a policy of deporting all illegal immigrants? This is fresh numbers, not released now, just from yesterday. And the answer is 48% yes to 46% no. So all illegal immigrants is still +2 when Donald Trump is -7. So this is almost 10 net points more popular than Trump is right now. And then you say, oh, look at that. Well, ICE. It's the tactics that people don't like. It's not the fundamental principles. We've measured this over and over again. And so my suggestion was to go after the businesses, because nobody likes businesses in America. Should the federal government impose strong penalties against U.S. employers who knowingly hire illegal immigrants? And it's 55% yes to 29% no, +26. Donald Trump -7, holding businesses accountable +26. So, you tell me what the right path forward for America is. It's raiding all of these corporations and holding abusive businesses accountable. This is why our system is broken. He won't do it.
I mean, that was the biggest issue that President Trump ran on, and it was deporting illegals, deporting all of them. And now. And you've got guys, and this is like the thing of Rand Paul. Rand Paul was on with, let me see if we can get that clip up. Rand Paul was on with, who was it? It was with Joe Rogan. I think it was last week or so. And he pretty much said, he's like, we need to have some sort of amnesty, some sort of, here, we've got it right here so you can.
Shock you. I'm a moderate on this. I actually think that most of the people that are here and working lawfully and can pass a background check, I would give them no welfare, and I'd give them no citizenship, no voting privileges, but you can work and we won't arrest you.
Okay. No citizenship, but a potential path to citizenship?
I think it's better just to say the trade-off is this, that you came illegally. Right now the law says you got to go back and you'll never get in, basically. So the compromise is you came in illegally, you just don't get to be a citizen, your kids will be. Now the new ones, the 8 million that might have come in last year, some of them need to go back, and particularly any of them committing crimes. The compromise I'm offering is different than anybody's ever talked about. Everybody thinks the compromise has to include voting and citizenship. If in Texas we gave amnesty and let, I don't know, a couple million people vote, immediately Texas becomes Democrat for the next 20 years. So that's what it's all about. It's about voting. I think some of the best Americans just got here, frankly. They have good work ethic. They're hardworking people. They work in our fields. They pick our tomatoes. They clean fish. They work in chicken houses. They do a lot of the dirty jobs in our country are done by immigrants. So
they also came here with ambition because they want a better life at great peril, and great risk.
And some of them are here illegally. I would have a work program. I'd let them sign up for a work program, pass a background check.
But do you think that they should have to go back home in order to become a citizen? Like if you could show, like if some guy came over here 20 years ago, started off as a laborer, now he's a carpenter, he's working for some construction company, but he's an illegal.
Right. Like, the trade is you don't get citizenship at all. Your kids will. I would just say you don't get citizenship. That's your trade-off. Here's an interesting survey. Let's find 1,000 people who are in Texas illegally and do a poll and say, would you accept this? Would you accept that you don't get to vote during your lifetime, but your kids will get to vote if they were born here in exchange for not having to worry about being in a car accident or being sent back to Mexico? I'll bet you 80% of the people here illegally would take work without citizenship. But you know who wants the citizenship and doesn't care about work? Democrats.
It starts with letting them do that, to then it goes to citizenship, and then it goes to voting. Does he really think we're that stupid?
So listening to Rand Paul and Rogan, it seems like he thinks that his constituency is illegal immigrants.
By the way, just Joe Rogan, he's not a Republican, he's not a Democrat, he's sort of like a center of the road guy, and he's an issue-based thing. He sort of was like the voice of reasoning here, like, well, should we send them back and then let them back in? Like, what are we doing there? Rand Paul's just like, no, mask off, man. Let them all in. Let them stay.
I mean, this is exactly what the Chamber of Commerce wants. They want infinite illegal immigrants, and they don't want them to vote because that's what Democrats want. They just want them to be a permanent slave labor class. And here's the problem is Americans just want a rule of law again. They just want fairness. They want the system and rules to work. And what he seems to be advocating for is basically this blurry system where we have laws that we don't enforce. And that is untenable. And it's why? It's because it's better for the economy. It's because blah, blah, blah. It's the line must go up. They want cheap labor because the line must go up. Corporate profits have to keep. This is exactly what all the Republican big business interests are. This is who they are. And I'll tell you, I think it's a great example about how the Libertarian Party is dead on arrival, because if this is what free market libertarianism is, this is not going to work. I mean, they're basically creating an entire system and be exploited. And you know what? We have decades of experience that tell us that if you let these people in here, they're still going to vote and they're still going to take our social safety nets. And so, no, this hasn't worked. And Americans resoundingly told the Donald Trump administration in November of 2024 that they want this fixed and how they want it fixed. And here you have this guy who, unfortunately, like this is where it's going. He sounds like Trump on this. He sounds like the people that are talking to Trump on this.